again, my little yarnivores and spiderettes. Fiber Spider back again with another tutorial just for you. And today this is a very special crochet along. Yes, it is going to be a series because this is going to be after much trial and error. I have finally figured out how to transform the Kaleidoscope Granny blanket into the Kaleidoscope Granny shawl. Yes, yes. Believe you me, it was not easy. But now that I have it figured out, it is easy because now I know what to do. And I want to show you guys how you can make one yourself. Yes, I'm very excited. Okay, now for this project, I used a size J 6mm hook. Of course, yes, you can use whatever hook size works best for you. I'm just letting you know what it is that I personally used. And the yarn, I used Pound of Love by Lion Brand. This video is not sponsored, but, I always like to let you guys know what it is that I use. And technically, for this piece, you only really need 2 colors. You can use more, but you need at least 2 colors for this whole project. Now, this is the antique white, and also the specifications for the yarn. Each skein is over 1,000 yards. It's about 1,020 yards, 16 ounces, 100% acrylic. So it's machine washable and dryable, which I love. Yes, I do. And the colorways I really do love as well, so I find that it's perfect. Now, they say it is a weight of 4. I would say it's more of a thin weight of 4, but go figure. And they do say to use a size J, so for once I'm following the rules. All right, so that being said, I'm going to be using antique white and charcoal, yes, and cherry. My goodness, that is bright. I hope it doesn't burn your retinas. It's a lot brighter on camera than it is in person, believe you me. All right, so that's the cherry and Oxford gray. And last but not least, we have claret or claret, which is, it looks brown on camera, but actually it's more of a really deep wine burgundy type color. And I thought that these 5 would go nicely together. All right, now, when I said that you technically only really need 2 colors, we're going to be creating triangles, and we're going to be framing those triangles with sort of like a framework, almost like leading for stained glass, if you will. Now, what I'm going to do is my triangles are going to be all of these other different colors, but what I'm going to be calling the framework or the leading, I'm going to use the charcoal. Now, of course, you can do whatever it is that you wish to do with your project as far as how you arrange your colors, how many rows you do. I encourage you by all means to experiment, to try new things, to think outside of the box and play around with the pattern, by all means. With the Kaleidoscope Granny blanket, you guys have sent so many pictures to my Facebook page of your beautiful, beautiful work. And it's because you experimented and you thought outside of the box, and I totally encourage that. And I would love for you to do the same with this idea as well. Now, that being said, okay, no, I do not have a written pattern for this, okay? I cannot stress that enough. I do not have a written pattern. So before you ask in the comments, where's the pattern? No, I do not have one. I'm just doing this as a tutorial. Also, if you decide to do a different number of rows for your segments, well, that is your prerogative, okay? But if you run into a problem because you went into a different number of rows, well, you're going to have to do some tweaking and finagling, just as I did when I came up with this initially. So, that being said, I wanted to make that abundantly clear, where we are at, because I like to be transparent. So, with that being said, let's get started. Okay. Alrighty, so first things first, we are going to start with our slip knot. Now I'm using the claret at the moment. I know it looks really, really dark, but yes, I am using the claret, and we are going to start this off just like we would any normal granny shawl. No difference whatsoever. All right, so going to start after our slip knot, going to chain 1, and that's the chain that we're going to be working into. Then an additional 4 chains, so it's 5 chains. So 2, 3, whoop, whoop, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. And then into that first chain, 3 doubles, into that first chain. All right, then chain 3, and into that same first chain, 3 more doubles. Okay, then chain 1 and 1 more double into that first chain. And cinch it up a little bit. There we go. So when we had our chaining of 5, that first chain counts as our magic ring. You could also, of course, chain 4 and do a slip stitch to the first chain to create a ring. Whatever works, really. But that first chain counts as our ring. The additional chaining of a 4 counts as a double crochet and a chain 1 space. Then our 3 doubles, chain 3, 3 doubles, and then we need symmetry, so you chain 1 and do a double crochet. So that is our first row. Now this first triangle segment piece, which is going to be at the very center of our neck, technically is going to be 6 rows. Okay, it's going to be 6 rows, and then we're going to add the sort of the framework, if you will. And I would like to have more than one color for my triangle, so we're going to continue on using the same color for the next 2 rows, and then we're going to change colors. So from here, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, turn the work, and then going into this chain 1 space with 3 doubles. And generally speaking, the edges are always the same, so that's really nice where we don't have to think about that. All right, so we chained 4, 3 doubles, chain 1 in the center spine, 3 doubles, whoop, 3 please, 3 doubles, okay, chain 3 and 3 more doubles, alrighty, chain 1 into the last space, 3 doubles, chain 1 and 1 more double. Okay, now we just need to do 1 more row. At least I'm going to do 1 more row. So chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, turn the work, and then into that chain 1 space again, 3 doubles, chain 1, 3 doubles into the next space. And for those of you that are familiar with the triangular granny shawl, also for those of you that are familiar with the Kaleidoscope granny blanket. This should make sense after a while. It's not that difficult, but I really did want to do a complete walkthrough, a crochet along. So after my 3 doubles, chain 1, and then into the center spine, 3 doubles, chain 3, 3 doubles. Okay, 3 doubles, chain 3, and 3 doubles. Chain 1, 3 doubles into the next space, chain 1, 3 doubles into the next space, chain 1, and it's at this point pretty much now that we're going to change colors. Now, like I said, this first triangle, it's going to be 6 rows, and then we're going to do the framework. I keep on wanting to say the lead work, like in stained glass, but I'm going to try to train myself to say framework. All right. Now, what I would strongly suggest is, technically speaking, yes, after every row, you could change colors, but then the number of ends that you're going to have to sew in later will be astronomical and painful at best. So I'm trying to keep that down to a minimum while also keeping the optic and visual appeal up. So I also find that it's easier to sew in ends if you have at least 2 rows so that you can sew in your ends easier. With just 1 row, it's a little bit more tricky. So that being said, since we have 6 rows for the first triangle, you could do 2 and 4, 2 rows and then 4 rows, or 4 rows and 2 rows, or 3 rows and 3 rows. Whatever combination you would like, by all means, have fun with it. I'm going to do 3 rows and 3 rows. So it's at this point that I'm going to grab my new ball of yarn and we're going to join in the new color and we will continue on with the next 3 rows. Alrighty. All right, so to join our new color, I have at the end, my 3 doubles, my chain 1, and so to do the changing of color, we're going to start our double crochet, the final double crochet, but not finish it. It's just a matter of yarning over, pulling up a loop, pulling through 2, but do not finish. You want to finish with the new color. That's the whole idea. So, and I already cut my yarn here. And yes, I know I leave really long tails, but that is so that it's easier for me to sew in my ends later. I'm a bit of a fanatic about that. All right, so you're grabbing your new yarn and you're finishing up that double crochet with your new yarn, pulling through. And then these 2 tails we can deal with later. Okay, so from now, chain up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is the antique white, by the way. Nice bold contrast. And then into the chain 1 space, 3 doubles, and then chain 1, 3 doubles into the next space, chain 1, 3 doubles into the next space. And so basically we have this row and the next 2 rows are going to be the exact same with the same color. So then chain 1, and then into the center spine, 3 doubles, chain 3, 3 doubles, as always. 1, 2, 3, and then 3 more doubles, like so, and then chain 1, 3 doubles into the next space, chain 1, 3 doubles into the next space, chain 1, 3 doubles into the next space. Going to be saying that a lot, I imagine. All right, so 2 more. Chain 1, and because we're at the last space here, do 1 last double crochet. So yes, this is exactly like you would do a normal granny triangle shawl. You know, there's really no difference. The trick right now is how we're going to manipulate our piece with the colors. The structure, that's going to come with the next 2 triangles that are going to come into play. Not just yet, but soon enough. So from here, you would chain up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, turn your work, and into the chain 1 space, 3 doubles, and then chain 1, and 3 doubles into the next space. Yes, yes, yes. And so on and so forth. So what I'm going to do is I am going to finish up this row and the next row, and then we introduce the framework. Yep. And it's really no different than what we did here, but I'm going to show you that as well, and then we can continue on our merry little way. Alrighty. So I will be back after I'm done with this current white row and the next white row, and then we shall carry on. Okie dokie. Alrighty, so I'm done with my 3rd row of the antique white, and I'm almost done with this. So I just need, after doing my 3 doubles and my chain 1, going to start the final double, but don't finish it. No, no, no. And then grab, in my case, this, I know it looks so similar, but it does contrast more in person, believe you me. Yes, I'm grabbing my charcoal for my framework here and going to join that in and finish up this double crochet with the charcoal. Scooch that down. There we go. Then chain up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn the work. And then into that chain 1 space, 3 doubles. Chain 1, 3 doubles into the next space. Chain 1, 3 doubles into the next space, and so on and so forth for the rest of this row and for the next row. Now, what I was saying before about being able to change the sizes, the number of rows per triangle, well, this triangle is going to be sort of the determining factor for all of your future triangles. You could have this one be starting off with as a really small triangle. You could. Or a really, really big triangle, but it will have an impact on the finished piece, believe you me. With my first prototype, I thought that I was going to have a lot more series of triangles, but if I did one more series of triangle, it would be so big, so huge, that it would not be a very practical shawl. So I did my 3 doubles, my chain 3, and then 3 more doubles because this is the center spine. And so I do encourage you to experiment by all means. Now, the important thing about this first triangle, something that I came to learn, is that you need, at the end of this triangle, you need to have an odd number of spaces so that we can work into the center space for our next series of triangles. That's the important thing. Now, I would suggest, if I may, that you follow along with the number of rows that I'm doing, at least initially. And then if you want to experiment and forge ahead in your own direction afterwards, by all means. But I would suggest perhaps doing the number prescribed that I'm currently doing, just so that you can get used to the technique before venturing out onto your own. All right, so we're at the end of the row, so I need to do my 3 doubles, chain 1, 1 double. See, right now, since I'm at the end of this row, I will show you what I mean. And because, keep in mind, this space right here counts as a space. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's an even number. We need an odd number. So that being said, going to do another row using the charcoal. And that way we will have, not only will we have an odd number of spaces, but also, by the way, I'm chaining 4 once again and turning my work. Yes, not only will we have an odd number, but also the framework will really pop and it'll really stand out because it's going to be 2 rows wide. There's that. But also, like I said before, I find that it's a lot easier to sew in your ends if you have at least 2 rows to play around with. Personal opinion. The other thing is that when I was initially playing around with designing this, initially I did not have any sort of framework. And frankly, I thought, in my opinion, that it looked a little sloppy and a little unkempt, and it didn't look very polished or defined without the framework. So I would suggest it. Is it a requirement? No, not by any means. But I do think that it gives it a little panache. Just a little panache. Nothing wrong with that, right? A little refinement. Now, as you can see, yeah, there is a difference between the claret and the charcoal. Yes, it is subtle, but it is there. And with what was available at my local Michael's, well, we make do with what we got, right? And I do apologize for the yarn being quite so dark, but again, we make do. And going to chain 3. And then go into that same space with 3 more doubles. Like so. And also what I would strongly recommend is to sew in your ends as you go, because they add up. They multiply like gremlins in water. And by the end of this project, you are going to have quite a few of them. However, it's worth it. In my opinion, it is worth it. Because this is going to have, I think, a lot of really interesting visual appeal. And people are going to wonder, how in the world did you do that? And you can just sort of smile and be like, well, it's my little secret. And only you and I know that. Don't tell anybody. don't tell anybody. All right, so we're just about at the end here. And got my 3 doubles. The reason why I'm not actually talking about what I'm doing is because, well, we've done this already several times over. I got my 3 doubles, my chain 1, and then my 1 double, which we are going to, in actuality, finish. We can cut our yarn and pull the little ends through, and there you go. And that is the first triangle, the first finished triangle segment of our Kaleidoscope Granny shawl. Yes, it is. All right, so I am going to sew in my ends, get this a little bit more polished, and I will be back with another episode of the Kaleidoscope Granny Shawl Crochet Along for all of you. Yes, I shall. I'm just going to sew in all my ends, and then we will continue on with the next series of triangles, which it's going to seem very, very odd and counterintuitive at first, but it will make sense as we go on. Trust me. I hope you trust me by now. All right, so listen, I hope you're enjoying this so far. I know that we've essentially covered this kind of process before, but this is going to have a whole new ending, and I hope you guys like this. And if you do, give a little thumbs up button down below because I appreciate your appreciation. And until next time, I want all of you to stay inspired, stay caffeinated, stay stitching, stay safe, and subscribe for more because there's more to come. And I'll see you soon. Have a good day, everybody, and bye for now.